Name Google's search engine for academic publishing. Scholar. Google Scholar is a freely accessible web search engine that indexes the full text or metadata of scholarly literature across an array of publishing formats and disciplines. It provides a simple way to broadly search for scholarly literature, including peer-reviewed papers, theses, books, abstracts, and articles. Built for the 1980 Summer Olympics, which city boasts the Izmailovo Hotel, at 2014 the world's largest, comprising 7,500 rooms. Moscow. The Izmailovo Hotel in Moscow was constructed for the 1980 Summer Olympics. At its completion, and for several decades, it held the record as one of the world's largest hotel complexes, reflecting the scale of infrastructure development undertaken for such international events. The word dinosaur is derived from Greek dinosaurus, meaning terrible lizard. The term dinosaur was coined by Sir Richard Owen in 1842. It originates from the Greek words dinos, terrible, potent, or fearfully great, and saurons, lizard or reptile, literally translating to terrible lizard, reflecting their formidable size and appearance. What term describes a 3D crystal structure in physics and a criss-cross pastry pie top? Lattice. In physics and chemistry, a lattice refers to a regular, periodic arrangement of points or atoms in space, forming the structural basis of crystalline solids. This ordered structure is fundamental to understanding the physical and chemical properties of materials. The energy possessed by an object due to its motion is called kinetic. Kinetic energy is the energy an object possesses due to its motion. It is directly proportional to the object's mass and the square of its velocity, as described by the formula E equals 1/2 mv squared. Which famous archipelago comprises 8 major islands including Maui, Oahu, Kauai, and Molokai? Hawaiian Islands. The Hawaiian Islands form an archipelago of 8 major islands, along with numerous atolls and smaller islets, located in the central Pacific Ocean. This U.S. state is renowned for its unique geology, active volcanoes, and rich biodiversity. The approximate capacity in megabytes, MB, of a standard compact disc is 737 megabytes. A standard 120 mm compact disc, CD, typically has a storage capacity of around 700 to 740 megabytes, allowing for approximately 80 minutes of audio or a significant amount of digital data. This capacity made CDs a popular medium for music and software distribution for decades. What traditional American word for an ancient weapon also refers to the gravity-based accelerational effect of a celestial object on another, or on a spacecraft? Slingshot. In space exploration, a slingshot maneuver, also known as a gravity assist, uses the gravitational pull of a planet or other celestial body to alter a spacecraft's trajectory and speed. This technique conserves propellant and significantly shortens travel times to distant destinations. Trypanosomiasis technically refers to what type of sickness? Sleeping. Trypanosomiasis is a parasitic disease caused by protozoan parasites of the genus Trypanosoma. Human African trypanosomiasis, commonly known as sleeping sickness, is transmitted by the tsetse fly and can lead to severe neurological symptoms, coma, and death if left untreated. What modern globally recognized symbol, created by British designer Gerald Holtom in 1958, is based on the flag semaphore signals for N and D? Nuclear disarmament. The internationally recognized peace symbol was designed by Gerald Holtom in 1958 for the British campaign for nuclear disarmament. It graphically combines the flag semaphore signals for N, nuclear, and D, disarmament, symbolizing a plea for the abolition of nuclear weapons. Bok choy, US, or pak choy, UK, is a type of Chinese cabbage. Bok choy, also known as pak choy, is a type of Chinese white cabbage. It is a leafy green vegetable belonging to the Brassica wrapper family, widely utilized in Asian cuisine for its crisp texture and mild flavor. Meissen and Dresden of Germany, and Spode of England were renowned for making high-quality what? Porcelain. Meissen, Germany, and Spode, England, are historically renowned for their high-quality porcelain production. Meissen, founded in 1710, was the first European manufacturer of hard-paste porcelain, while Hosier Spode's factory in England became famous for developing bone china in the late 18th century. Their contributions significantly advanced ceramic artistry and manufacturing techniques. What French term traditionally conveys a product or service's extra comfort or elegance, ironically deriving from the Latin origin, excess? De luxe. The French term de luxe is widely used to signify a product or service of superior quality, luxury, or elegance. Ironically, its Latin root, de luxus, translates to of excess, highlighting the concept of something going beyond the ordinary to provide enhanced comfort or sophistication. This term is prevalent in marketing and branding to denote premium offerings. A lustrum refers to a period of how many years? 5. A lustrum is a period of 5 years. Historically, in ancient Rome, a lustrum was a purification ceremony performed after the census, which occurred every 5 years. The term subsequently evolved to denote the 5-year period between these censuses, becoming a recognized unit of time measurement. What remarkable and world-changing South American engineering project celebrated its centenary in August 2014? Panama Canal. The Panama Canal, a monumental engineering feat, officially opened on August 15, 1914, connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This waterway dramatically reduced shipping times and costs, revolutionizing global maritime trade and geopolitics. Its centenary in August 2014 commemorated its enduring impact on international commerce and navigation. The Afrikaans word, pronk, refers to the distinctive arch-backed, stiff-legged leap of which animal? Springbok. Pronking is a unique behavior exhibited by the springbok, an antelope native to southern Africa. This distinctive display involves the animal leaping into the air with an arched back and stiff, synchronized legs, often seen when it is excited or fleeing a predator. The term, pronk, itself originates from Afrikaans and describes this characteristic high jump. What is the more common English, Western biblical name for Golgotha, the site of Christ's crucifixion? Calvary. Golgotha, also known as Calvary, is traditionally recognized as the site outside ancient Jerusalem where Jesus Christ was crucified. The name, Golgotha, is Aramaic for place of the skull, while Calvary is derived from the Latin calvaria, also meaning skull. Both names refer to the same significant biblical location. The Old French term, échec mat, is terminology in which game? Chess. The term, checkmate, in chess, which signifies the end of the game when a king is under direct attack and has no legal move to escape, originates from the Old French, échec mat. This in turn derived from the Persian phrase, shahmat, meaning, the king is helpless, or, the king is dead. This linguistic evolution highlights the historical journey of chess from its origins. What English uprising, ending with the death of its leader Wat Tyler in June 1381, is widely known? The Peasants' Revolt. The Peasants' Revolt, also known as Wat Tyler's Rebellion, was a major uprising across large parts of England in June 1381. Fueled by socio-economic grievances, including the poll tax and feudal servitude, it challenged the authority of King Richard II. The revolt largely ended with the assassination of its key leader, Wat Tyler, in London. Which corporation operates the multi-billion-dollar two-sided advertising services branded AdSense and AdWords? Google. Google, a global technology giant, operates the widely used advertising services AdSense and AdWords, now Google Ads. AdWords allows businesses to display ads on Google's search results and partner websites, while AdSense enables website publishers to earn revenue by displaying targeted ads. These platforms form the core of Google's multi-billion-dollar advertising revenue. What are psychological tests called that invite responses to vague stimuli, e.g., random words, images, and whose answers are expertly analyzed? Projective. Projective tests in psychology involve presenting ambiguous stimuli to subjects, who then project their inner feelings, conflicts, and motivations onto the stimuli. These tests, like the Rorschach inkblot test or thematic apperception test, TAT, are typically interpreted by trained professionals to reveal unconscious aspects of personality. What are psychological tests called that ask standardized questions and whose answers are assessed according to fixed measures? Objective. Objective psychological tests use standardized questions and fixed scoring methods to assess personality traits or psychological states. These tests often employ self-report inventories or rating scales, allowing for quantitative analysis and comparison across individuals. What does Al Jazeera mean? The island. Al Jazeera is an Arabic news channel headquartered in Doha, Qatar. Its name, Al Jazeera, translates directly to the island, or the peninsula, in Arabic, referring to the Arabian Peninsula where Qatar is located. Which iconic 1851 London building was created by Joseph Paxton, a gardener, engineer, and greenhouse expert from Chatsworth House? Crystal Palace. Joseph Paxton, a gardener and engineer, designed the Crystal Palace for the Great Exhibition of 1851 in London. This monumental glass and cast iron structure was a marvel of Victorian engineering and a symbol of the Industrial Revolution's progress. What was originally an ancient Greek post-banquet drinking party, and now refers to a researchers' or academic conference? Symposium. The term, symposium, originated in ancient Greece, referring to a convivial drinking party held after a banquet, where participants engaged in intellectual discussions and entertainment. Today, it denotes an academic conference or meeting where experts discuss a particular subject, reflecting its historical association with intellectual discourse. In which direction is runway selection generally made for aircraft takeoff and landing? Into headwind. Aircraft generally take off and land into a headwind to maximize lift and minimize ground speed. A headwind increases the airflow over the wings, generating more lift for takeoff and allowing for a slower ground speed during landing, which enhances safety and control. Brahmanism is an ancient formative religion of which major world religion? Hinduism. Brahmanism refers to the ancient Vedic religion in India, characterized by ritualistic practices, the concept of Brahman, the ultimate reality, and the Varnashrama Dharma social system. It is considered a direct precursor and a formative stage in the development of modern Hinduism. What anglicized Italian term, derived from Latin, not known, refers to a person having a concealed or false identity? Incognito. The term, incognito, comes from the Italian word, incognito, and ultimately from the Latin, incognitus, meaning, unknown. It describes someone traveling or operating under a concealed identity to avoid public recognition, often used by famous people or those on secret missions. In 1849, U.S. mechanic Walter Hunt patented what multi-billion selling device? Safety pin. The safety pin was invented and patented by Walter Hunt in 1849. Its simple yet ingenious design, involving a spring-loaded clasp and coiled wire, quickly made it a widely adopted and commercially successful item for fastening fabrics. What potent plant is technically known as Papaver somniferum? Opium poppy. Papaver somniferum, commonly known as the opium poppy, is the plant from which opium and several important alkaloids, including morphine, codeine, and thebaine, are extracted. These compounds have significant medical applications as analgesics but also possess high potential for abuse. Burlap is an old material traditionally used in making what? Sacks. Burlap, also known as hessian, is a coarse, plain woven fabric typically made from jute, hemp, or flax fibers. Due to its durability and strength, it has been historically and traditionally used for manufacturing sacks, bags, and other heavy-duty coverings. What community support-focused branch of Christianity grew from the work of brothers John and Charles Wesley and George Whitefield? Methodism. Methodism is a major movement within Protestant Christianity that emerged in 18th century England through the ministries of John Wesley, Charles Wesley, and George Whitefield. It emphasizes personal piety, social holiness, and extensive community outreach, leading to significant charitable and evangelistic work. In 2014, the EU introduced a maximum 1600 watt power rating for what appliance? Vacuum cleaners. In 2014, the European Union implemented regulations limiting the power of vacuum cleaners to a maximum of 1600 watts. This measure was part of a broader EU initiative to improve energy efficiency across various household appliances, aiming to reduce overall electricity consumption and promote environmental sustainability. The fin whale, the second largest animal after the blue whale, excretes approximately how many liters per day? 1000. The fin whale, Balanoptera physalis *, is the second largest animal on Earth, following only the blue whale. Due to its immense size and active metabolism, it processes and excretes significant volumes of waste, contributing to nutrient cycling within marine ecosystems. The Old English profession, coffer, typically employed in a royal household, equates nowadays to what? Accountant. A coffer was a historical official, particularly within royal households, responsible for managing the finances and accounts. This role is equivalent to a modern-day accountant or treasurer, overseeing expenditure, income, and the safekeeping of funds. Viticulture refers to the cultivation of what fruit? Grapes. Viticulture is the science and practice of cultivating and harvesting grapes, encompassing all stages from planting and growth to the eventual harvest. This specialized branch of agriculture is fundamental to the production of wine, juices, and other grape products. What ancient seminal Palestinian city is House of Meat in Arabic and House of Bread in Hebrew? Bethlehem. Bethlehem is an ancient city in the Palestinian territories, profoundly significant in both Christian and Jewish traditions. Its name is derived from the Arabic, Beit Lam, house of meat, and the Hebrew, Beth Lahem, house of bread, reflecting its historical importance as an agricultural and pastoral center, particularly famed as the birthplace of Jesus Christ. During the 1900s, which devices were famously manufactured by companies like Olivetti, Olympia, Underwood, Smith Corona, and Remington? Typewriters. Typewriters were essential office machines in the 20th century, revolutionizing clerical work and employment, particularly for women. These companies were among the leading manufacturers, driving innovation and widespread adoption of the technology across various sectors. Anopheles and Aedes, known for indirectly causing millions of deaths annually, are types of what insect? Mosquitoes. Anopheles and Aedes are genera of mosquitoes that act as vectors for severe diseases. Anopheles mosquitoes transmit malaria, while Aedes mosquitoes are responsible for dengue fever, Zika virus, yellow fever, and chikungunya. Their role in disease transmission makes them a significant global public health concern. What term describes the outer protective covering or casing of a seed? Shell. The hull, also known as the pericarp or seed coat, is the protective outer layer of a seed or fruit. Its primary function is to safeguard the embryo and endosperm from environmental damage, pathogens, and predation, ensuring the seed's viability until germination. What does the glycemic index, GI, refer to? Food. The glycemic index, GI, is a numerical scale that ranks carbohydrates based on how quickly they raise blood sugar levels after consumption. Foods with a high GI cause a rapid increase in blood glucose, while low GI foods lead to a slower, more gradual rise. Understanding GI is crucial for dietary management, particularly for individuals managing diabetes or seeking stable energy levels. The term, petite bourgeoisie, refers to which traditional social demographic class? Lower middle class. The term, petite bourgeoisie, is an anglicized French phrase used in sociological and economic analysis, particularly in Marxist theory, to denote the lower middle class. This social group typically comprises small-scale entrepreneurs, shopkeepers, and independent professionals who own their means of production but may not employ substantial labor or accumulate significant capital, positioning them between the working class and the wealthy elite. Which spice derives its name from the Hungarian word for pepper? Paprika. Paprika is a spice made from dried and ground red peppers of the capsicum annuum family. Its name originates from the Hungarian word, paprika, which is a diminutive of the Serbo-Croatian, papar, meaning pepper. Hungary is historically renowned for its cultivation and culinary use of paprika, making it a cornerstone of traditional Hungarian cuisine. What medieval term for a knight's equestrian tournament also refers to a fairground ride and an airport baggage claim mechanism? Carousel. The term, carousel, has a rich history, originally referring to equestrian exercises and mock battles performed by knights in medieval Europe. Over time, it evolved to describe the popular fairground ride featuring rotating seats, often shaped like horses. In modern contexts, carousel also denotes the rotating conveyor system used in airports for baggage claim. Which German rye bread is reportedly named from the original meaning, devil's fart? Pumpernickel. Pumpernickel is a dense, dark, and slightly sweet rye bread originating from Germany. The etymology of its name is often attributed to a combination of pumpern, an old Low German word for flatulence, and nickel, a diminutive for Nikolaus, often associated with a goblin or devil. This peculiar naming likely refers to the bread's reputed indigestibility or its exceptionally dense and heavy character. What term refers to social service focused on an individual's situation or background, and also to certain furniture, especially ornate cabinets? Casework. The term, casework, has dual meanings across different domains. In social work, it denotes the process of providing individualized assistance to clients, focusing on their unique situations and backgrounds to address specific needs. In woodworking and furniture, casework refers to the construction of furniture pieces built as rigid, enclosed structures, such as cabinets, chests, and bookshelves. What term refers to a fashion, lifestyle, and music genre, and also to wood that is light and flaky due to rot or fungal attack? Punk. The term, punk, famously identifies a subculture that emerged in the 1970s, characterized by a distinct music genre, rebellious fashion, and anti-establishment ethos. Less commonly, punk also refers to wood that has become soft, light, and crumbly due to advanced decay from fungi or rot. This decayed wood is sometimes used as tinder due to its flammable properties. What anglicized French term for a rank or level is derived from the French word for ladder? Echelon. The word echelon is an anglicized term derived from the Old French word escalon, meaning a rung of a ladder. It is primarily used to describe a level or rank in an organization, hierarchy, or military formation. In a military context, an echelon refers to a specific arrangement of troops or vehicles in a stepped formation designed for tactical advantage. What technical term, also related to voting or head count, refers to the removal of a tree's top branches, usually to encourage new growth? Pollarding. The technical term, pollard, or pollarding, refers to a severe pruning technique where the upper branches of a tree are removed to promote a dense flush of new growth. This practice has historically been used to manage tree size, provide fodder, or harvest wood. The term is also related to poll, which historically meant head, linking it to concepts of voting by head count or the top part of something. Dart, mushroom, grain, notions, and piping are terms used in what handicraft? Sewing. All the listed terms are specific vocabulary used in the handicraft of sewing. A dart is a folded and sewn wedge of fabric used to shape garments. A darning mushroom is a tool for mending holes. Grain refers to the direction of threads in woven fabric. Notions is a collective term for small accessories like buttons, zippers, and thread. Piping is a type of trim used to finish edges or seams. What is the term for a nuclear reactor that produces more fissile material than it consumes as fuel? Breeder reactor. A breeder reactor is a nuclear reactor that generates more fissile material, such as plutonium-239 from uranium-238, than it consumes as fuel. This technology has the potential to greatly extend nuclear fuel resources, but also raises concerns about nuclear proliferation due to the production of weapons-grade material. Which musical instrument, typically used in plural form, derives its name from the Spanish word for chestnut? Castanets. Castanets are a percussion instrument, predominantly used in Spanish music and dance, consisting of two concave shells clapped together to produce a rattling sound. They are traditionally made of wood, often chestnut, from which their Spanish name, castañuelas, originates. Brimstone is an archaic term for which chemical element? Sulfur. Brimstone is an ancient name for the chemical element sulfur, S. It is one of the oldest known elements, recognized for its distinct yellow color and characteristic odor. Sulfur is a non-metal essential for life and widely used in industries, from fertilizer to the vulcanization of rubber. In 2010, which famous pedestrian, zebra, crossing was the first to be granted UK Heritage Listed status, an honor normally given to buildings and monuments? Abbey Road. The Abbey Road zebra crossing in London gained international fame as the cover image for the Beatles' 1969 album, Abbey Road. In 2010, it was granted Grade 2 listed status by English Heritage, recognizing its cultural and historical significance as a landmark in music history. This listing protects the crossing from unauthorized alteration. The Latin term, mutatus mutandus, is used when performing what action concerning two basically similar things? Comparing. Mutatus mutandus is a Latin phrase meaning, with those things changed which need to be changed, or, the necessary changes having been made. It is used when applying a rule or principle to a new situation, asserting that the statement remains true if analogous alterations are made to account for differences between the situations. In a musical composition, what does the term, coda, refer to? Its ending. In music, a coda, Italian for tail, is a concluding passage that brings a musical piece or movement to an end. It typically adds a sense of finality and often incorporates thematic material from the main body of the work, providing a satisfying and decisive conclusion. A nuclear component which emits radioactivity for an industrial, commercial purpose is called a source. A radioactive source is a nuclear component or substance that emits ionizing radiation for various applications in industry, medicine, and research. These sources are crucial in fields like non-destructive testing, sterilization, power generation, and certain medical treatments due to their controlled emission of alpha, beta, or gamma rays. The cobalt salts of aluminum oxide produce wood color in ceramics, glass, etc., notably ancient Chinese porcelain. Blue. Cobalt salts, particularly cobalt, oxide or cobalt aluminate, are extensively used as pigments to produce a distinct blue color in ceramics, glass, and enamels. This characteristic deep blue, known for its stability at high temperatures, was famously employed in ancient Chinese porcelain, such as the iconic blue and white ware of the Ming and Qing dynasties. A solenoid, featured in electromagnetic valves and switches of that name, is a helix. A solenoid is an electrical device consisting of a tightly wound cylindrical coil of wire, which conceptually forms a helix. When an electric current passes through the wire, it creates a magnetic field similar to that of a bar magnet, making solenoids fundamental components in electromagnets, relays, and various automated control systems. Henry Pouet's 1800s Railroad Manuals and Luther Blake's Standard Statistics Bureau of Non-Railroad Corporate Information merged in 1941 to become what famous two-letter U.S. financial services, index brand S&P. The financial services and index brand S&P, Standard & Poor's, was formed in 1941 through the merger of Henry Varnum Pouet's Railroad Analysis Publications and Luther Blake's Standard Statistics Bureau. S&P is renowned for its financial market intelligence, including credit ratings and market indices like the S&P 500, which is a key indicator of the performance of large-cap U.S. equities. Who painted The Starry Night, Sorrowing Old Man and Self-Portrait Without Beard? Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh, a prominent Dutch post-impressionist painter, is celebrated for his vibrant and emotionally charged artworks. His masterpieces include The Starry Night, a seminal work depicting an expressive night sky, Sorrowing Old Man, At Eternity's Gate, and several self-portraits, all characterized by bold colors and dramatic brushwork that profoundly influenced 20th century art. An oophorectomy is the removal of one or both of a woman's what? Ovaries. An oophorectomy is a surgical procedure involving the removal of one or both of a woman's ovaries. This procedure is typically performed to treat conditions such as ovarian cysts, endometriosis, ovarian cancer, or as part of a hysterectomy, and it can significantly impact hormone levels and fertility. To what very common consumer items do the IEC codes R6 and R03 and equivalent ANSI codes R and AAA refer? Batteries. The International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC, codes R6 and R03, along with their American National Standards Institute, ANSI, equivalents R and AAA, respectively, refer to common standardized sizes of cylindrical dry cell batteries. These designations ensure interoperability and consistent sizing for household and portable electronic devices worldwide, with R being larger and AAA being smaller. Ian Paisley, the prominent Irish minister who passed away in 2014, belonged to which religious denomination? Protestant. Ian Paisley was a key figure in Northern Irish politics, a staunch Protestant Unionist leader who founded the Democratic Unionist Party, DUP. He served as First Minister of Northern Ireland and was central to the region's political landscape, his death marking the end of a significant era. What creature, strongly associated with maritime superstition, is referred to as a Molly Mawk in Australian and New Zealand English? Albatross. Mollymark is a common regional term used in Australia and New Zealand for certain species of albatross, particularly those within the genus Thalassarchae. Albatrosses are large oceanic birds renowned for their immense wingspans and feature prominently in maritime folklore, often symbolizing good or ill fortune for sailors. Which silver-gray metallic element, designated by the symbol Mo, is extensively utilized in high-strength steels? Molybdenum. Molybdenum is a silvery white metallic element with the chemical symbol Mo and atomic number 42. It is predominantly used as an alloying agent in steel, significantly enhancing its strength, hardness, and resistance to corrosion, making it vital for various industrial applications. The term macula refers to a component of which sensory organ? Eye. The macula is a crucial part of the retina in the eye, responsible for high-resolution central vision, allowing us to perceive fine details and colors. This small, central area contains a high concentration of photoreceptor cells, particularly cones, and its health is vital for clear vision. The medieval occupation and subsequently derived surname, scullion, referred to a basic worker in what part of a household? Kitchen. A scullion was a low-ranking domestic servant in medieval and early modern households, primarily tasked with menial duties in the kitchen. These responsibilities typically included washing dishes, scrubbing pots, and performing other basic chores to assist the cooks. What is the common meaning of the prefix meso? Middle. The prefix meso originates from ancient Greek, meaning middle or intermediate. It is widely used across various scientific disciplines, such as in Mesozoic era, middle life era in geology, mesosphere, the middle layer of Earth's atmosphere, and mesoderm, the middle germ layer in embryology. What type of crops are referred to as forage? Animal feed. Forage refers to plant material, primarily grasses, legumes, and other herbaceous plants, that are grown and consumed by grazing livestock such as cattle, sheep, and horses. It forms a fundamental part of animal diets, providing essential nutrients and fiber for their growth and overall health in agricultural systems. What is a sepulchre, typically made or carved from stone? A tomb. A sepulchre is a chamber, often made of stone, that is used as a burial place for the deceased. Historically, these structures have significant cultural and architectural importance, serving as monuments or final resting places across various civilizations. What traditional Scottish garment is referred to as a philabeg? Kilt. A philabeg is an archaic term for a kilt, a traditional knee-length garment worn by men in the Scottish Highlands. This iconic attire is a strong symbol of Scottish cultural heritage and national identity. In the binary number system, the binary number, 10, represents which conventional decimal number? 2. The binary number system is a base 2 numeral system that uses only two symbols, typically 0 and 1. In this system, 10 translates to the decimal number 2, where the 1 represents 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 1, and the 0 represents 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 0. This concept is fundamental to digital computing. Which metallic element is present in the sulfate used as a contrast agent for gastrointestinal X-rays? Barium. Barium sulfate, BaSO4, is a radiocontrast agent used in medical imaging, particularly for gastrointestinal X-rays. Its high atomic number allows it to absorb X-rays effectively, coating the digestive tract and making its structures visible on the images. The Hawaiian Islands are longitudinally closest to which nation's territory? USA. The Hawaiian Islands, located in the central Pacific Ocean, constitute the 50th state of the United States. Despite their remote oceanic location, they are an integral part of U.S. territory and are longitudinally closest to the contiguous United States mainland. Native to Indonesia, which spice is derived from the flower bud of the tall evergreen tree, Syzygium aromaticum. Clove. Clove is an aromatic spice made from the dried flower buds of the Syzygium aromaticum * tree, an evergreen native to the Maluku Islands of Indonesia. It is widely used in cuisine, traditional medicine, and perfumery due to its distinct pungent flavor and fragrance. Shell shock, in BASH, was in 2014 described as the most dangerous, since heartbleed. Computer bug. Shell shock is a critical security vulnerability discovered in 2014, affecting the Unix BASH shell. This flaw allowed attackers to execute arbitrary code remotely, posing a severe threat to numerous systems including web servers, network devices, and embedded systems. Its widespread impact and potential for exploitation led to its comparison with the heartbleed bug. On a 20 cm diameter clock face, the tip of the second hand travels approximately how many kilometers in a year? 330. This question involves a calculation of distance traveled by a point on a circle over time. For a 20 cm diameter clock, the radius is 10 cm. The tip of the second hand completes 1 revolution per minute. Calculating the total circumference multiplied by the number of minutes in a year provides the approximate total distance, which is around 330 kilometers. This historical region, 1300s-1800s, of Bessarabia is in Eastern Europe. Bessarabia is a historical region in Eastern Europe, situated between the Prut and Dniester rivers. Throughout its history, from the 14th to the 19th centuries, it was subject to various powers including the Principality of Moldavia, the Ottoman Empire, and the Russian Empire. Today, most of its territory is part of Moldova, with smaller portions in Ukraine. What portmanteau term created in the 1960s as the science of copying or duplicating documents, graphics? Reprographics. Reprographics is a portmanteau term, combining reproduction and graphics, coined in the 1960s. It refers to the processes and technologies used for copying and duplicating documents, drawings, and other graphic materials. This field encompasses techniques such as photocopying, microfilming, and blueprinting, which became vital for information management and dissemination. What Swiss psychologist conceived extraversion and introversion and personality tendencies of intuition, sensing, feeling and thinking? Carl Jung. Carl Jung, a pioneering Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, developed the influential concepts of extraversion and introversion to describe fundamental psychological attitudes towards the world. He also identified 4 psychological functions: thinking, feeling, sensing, and intuition, which, when combined with these attitudes, form the basis of his theory of psychological types. Put these countries in order of oldest to youngest population average age. Japan, USA, Turkey, Uganda. This order reflects global demographic trends. Japan has one of the world's oldest populations due to low birth rates and high life expectancy. The USA has a moderately aging population, while Turkey's population is younger but also undergoing demographic transition. Uganda has one of the youngest populations globally, characterized by high fertility rates and a large proportion of youth. Name IBM's artificial intelligence computer, which answers knowledge questions with startling effectiveness, named after the company's first CEO, chairman, coincidentally the name of a doctor, narrator noted for asking questions of a famous detective. Watson. IBM Watson is an artificial intelligence system developed by IBM, notable for its ability to answer questions posed in natural language. It gained significant public attention by winning the game show Jeopardy! In 2011. The system is named after Thomas J. Watson, IBM's first CEO and chairman, and represents a major advancement in cognitive computing. What term is commonly used to describe a significant share trading mistake, potentially involving millions of dollars? Fat finger error. A fat finger error refers to a human error in financial trading where a trader accidentally hits the wrong key or enters an incorrect amount, leading to an unintended and often costly transaction. These errors can occur due to typos, miscalculations, or simple slips, potentially moving large sums of money or disrupting market prices. Which nation, known for being the most sparsely populated in the European Union, is home to nearly 200,000 lakes? Finland. Finland, a Nordic country, is famously known as the land of 1,000 lakes, though it actually boasts close to 188,000 lakes. Its low population density, combined with its vast forested areas and numerous waterways, contributes to its unique geographical character within the European Union. Founded in 1938 by Lee Byung-chul, Samsung is recognized as the largest business conglomerate in which country, as of 2014? South Korea. Samsung, established in 1938 by Lee Byung-chul, is a multinational manufacturing conglomerate headquartered in South Korea. It has diversified into various sectors, including electronics, shipbuilding, construction, and finance, and is a dominant force in the South Korean economy and a major global technology player. In which geographical region is the mountainous area known as the Caucasus primarily located? Southeastern Europe and Western Asia. The Caucasus region is a transcontinental area located at the border of Europe and Asia, situated between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. It is home to the Caucasus Mountains, including Mount Elbrus, Europe's highest peak, and is known for its diverse cultures, languages, and complex geopolitical history. Which renowned corporation, recognized by its flying crane logo, derives its name from Germany's late medieval defensive commercial federation, the Hanseatic League, combined with the German word for air? Lufthansa. Lufthansa, Germany's largest airline, combines Luft, German for air, with Hansa, referring to the Hanseatic League. The Hanseatic League was a powerful medieval commercial and defensive confederation of merchant guilds and market towns in northern Europe, playing a significant role in trade from the 13th to the 17th centuries. What is the common name for a famous four-stage theory explaining how individuals learn new skills or knowledge? Conscious competence. The conscious competence learning model describes the psychological states involved in progressing from incompetence to competence. It outlines four stages: unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence, illustrating the journey of acquiring a new skill or knowledge. What ancient land is referred to by the oldest known name, Albion? England, Britain. Albion is the oldest known name for the island of Great Britain, used by ancient Greek and Roman geographers. The name is believed to derive from the Latin, albus, white, possibly referring to the White Cliffs of Dover, or from a pre-Celtic root. Which Andalusian city lends its name to a bitter orange variety primarily used in marmalade production? Seville. Seville, a city in Andalusia, Spain, is renowned for its bitter oranges, which are specifically cultivated for marmalade production. The unique flavor and high pectin content of Seville oranges make them ideal for this traditional preserve. Which capital city in the Balkans, once affected by conflict, now hosts a globally recognized human DNA analysis laboratory? Sarajevo. Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina, is home to a world-leading human DNA analysis laboratory, which played a crucial role in identifying victims of the Bosnian War. This laboratory continues to contribute significantly to forensic science and humanitarian efforts. For which opera did Georges Bizet coin the term toreador? Carmen. Georges Bizet, the renowned French composer, famously coined the term toreador for his opera Carmen, which premiered in 1875. The opera features the iconic toreador song, celebrating the bullfighter, a central figure in Spanish culture. Which continent boasts the highest average elevation globally? Antarctica. Antarctica holds the distinction of having the highest average elevation of all continents, primarily due to its massive ice sheet. This vast ice cap, which covers about 98% of the continent, significantly contributes to its overall height above sea level. What term describes a remark, act, or chess move aimed at gaining an advantage, derived from the Italian for trip up or leg? Gambit. A gambit refers to a remark, act, or chess move made to gain an advantage, often involving a calculated risk or sacrifice. The term originates from the Italian gambetto, meaning to trip up, or a leg up, reflecting its strategic and tactical nature. By what type of institutions are the Dewey Decimal, Universal Decimal, and Bliss bibliographic classification systems primarily utilized? Libraries. The Dewey Decimal Classification (DDC), Universal Decimal Classification (UDC), and Bliss Bibliographic Classification (BBC) are widely used systems for organizing and categorizing library materials. These classification schemes provide a structured method for shelving books and resources, making them easily discoverable for users. The Carthage civilization, 814 to 200 BC, was based around modern Tunis. Carthage was a major Phoenician city-state located near modern Tunis, Tunisia. It was a dominant power in the Mediterranean until its destruction by Rome in the Punic Wars, leaving a significant legacy in ancient history. What edible weed is named from lion's tooth? Dandelion. The name dandelion is derived from the French dent de lion, meaning lion's tooth, referring to the plant's sharply toothed leaves. Dandelions are well known for their yellow flowers and edible leaves, which are often used in salads and herbal remedies. What is the UK's most senior royal palace and official residence of the monarch? St. James's Palace. St. James's Palace holds the distinction of being the most senior royal palace in the United Kingdom, though Buckingham Palace is the monarch's primary residence. Historically, it served as the principal residence of British monarchs for over 3 centuries until the reign of Queen Victoria. The Occident, from Latin, going down, refers generally to which part of the world? Europe, US. The term Occident traditionally refers to the Western world, primarily encompassing Europe and countries with strong European cultural ties like the United States. Its etymology, from the Latin occidens, meaning setting, or going down, relates to the direction of the sunset. The Ganex brand, popularized by British Prime Minister Harold Wilson in the 1960s, was a raincoat. Ganex was a brand of raincoat that gained significant popularity in the 1960s, largely due to its frequent wear by then British Prime Minister Harold Wilson. The raincoat became an iconic symbol associated with Wilson's public image and the era. Name the chemical separation process in which electricity passes through a conducting substance between 2 electrodes. Electrolysis. Electrolysis is a chemical process that uses direct electric current to drive an otherwise non-spontaneous chemical reaction. It involves passing electricity through an ionic compound in a molten state or dissolved in a suitable solvent, leading to chemical decomposition at the electrodes. The highest US military award, the Medal of Honor, is what shape? Star. The Medal of Honor is the United States' highest military decoration, awarded for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty. It is predominantly star-shaped, featuring a bronze star with an eagle perched atop. The drachma was which nation's main currency unit before the euro in 2002? Greece. The drachma was the national currency of Greece for thousands of years, with its origins tracing back to ancient times. It was replaced by the euro in 2002 as Greece became part of the eurozone, signifying a major shift in the nation's economic policy and integration with the European Union. Episcopal refers to what authority? Bishop. The term, episcopal, derives from the Greek word, episkopos, meaning overseer, and directly refers to the authority and governance exercised by bishops within Christian churches. Many denominations, including the Anglican Communion and some Lutheran churches, are structured episcopally, emphasizing a hierarchical system led by bishops. Historically, Malmsey wine came from what nation and its surrounding islands? Greece. Malmsey, a sweet fortified wine, historically originated from Monemvasia in the Peloponnese region of Greece and its surrounding islands. It gained significant popularity in medieval Europe, particularly in England, where it was considered a prized commodity often imported through Mediterranean trade routes. Pioneering collaborative UK, Poland surgery to repair human spinal cord was demonstrated in 2014 using what uniquely regenerating human nerve cells? Olfactory. In a significant medical breakthrough in 2014, Polish and UK scientists utilized olfactory ensheathing cells, OECs, for spinal cord repair. These unique cells, found in the olfactory system, naturally facilitate nerve regeneration, offering hope for patients with severe spinal cord injuries. The 1850s open hearth process was used in producing steel. The open hearth process, also known as the Siemens-Martin process, was a pivotal industrial method developed in the 1850s for producing steel from cast iron and scrap. This technique significantly increased steel production capacity and improved its quality, playing a crucial role in the Second Industrial Revolution and infrastructure development. What country, now officially known as the Union of Myanmar with its capital Rangoon, was historically referred to as in the West? Burma. The country officially known as Myanmar was historically referred to as Burma in English, a name still used informally by some. The capital city, Yangon, was also previously known as Rangoon. This change in nomenclature reflects historical and political shifts within the nation. On which element's common isotope, 12, is the standard for expressing or measuring atomic weight based? Carbon. Atomic weight is fundamentally based on the carbon-12 isotope, which is assigned a precise mass of 12 atomic mass units, a mole. This standard allows for the accurate determination of the relative masses of all other elements and isotopes. It forms the cornerstone of stoichiometry and chemical calculations. The term, anchor escapement, describes the controlled release of mechanical energy in which device? Clocks. The anchor escapement is a crucial mechanism in mechanical clocks, invented around 1670 by Robert Hooke. It controls the rate at which the gear train moves by alternately locking and unlocking the escape wheel, thereby regulating the clock's accuracy. This invention was vital for the development of pendulum clocks. In the Middle East and North Africa, what does a souk, or souk, shuk, suck, etc. refer to? A marketplace. A souk, also spelled souk, is a traditional open-air marketplace or commercial quarter found in many Middle Eastern and North African cities. These bustling centers are historically significant for trade, social interaction, and cultural exchange, offering a wide array of goods from spices to crafts. Edo is the relatively unpopular improved version of what artificial language, first devised by Polish physician Ludwik Lazarus Zamenhof, 1859–1917. Esperanto. Edo is an artificial language derived from Esperanto, conceived as a reformed version to address perceived flaws in its predecessor. Esperanto itself was created by Ludwik Lazarus Zamenhof in the late 19th century with the primary goal of fostering international communication through a neutral and easily learnable language. Is food in dented cans less safe or pure than in indented cans? False. While a dented can itself does not automatically render food unsafe, severe dents, especially on seams or along the rim, can compromise the can's hermetic seal. This damage can allow bacteria to enter, leading to spoilage and potential health risks like botulism. Consumers are generally advised to avoid severely damaged cans. Poroprisms, commonly used in binoculars, have what shape end faces? Right-angle triangle. Poroprisms are a type of optical prism used in optical instruments such as binoculars to redirect and invert the image. They are named after their inventor Ignazio Porro and are characterized by their right-angle triangular faces, which allow for a compact design by folding the optical path within the instrument. What genericized brand, registered in 1909, refers to a horn alarm, derived from onomatopoeic Greek for making a loud sound? Klaxon. Klaxon is a brand name that has become genericized, often used to refer to any loud electric horn or alarm, particularly those used on vehicles or as warning signals. The name originates from the ancient Greek verb, klazo, meaning to shriek, or to make a loud sound, reflecting its onomatopoeic nature and the product's function. Which BRIC country re-elected female President Dilma Rousseff of the Workers' Party in 2014? Brazil. Dilma Rousseff, a member of the Workers' Party, served as the 36th President of Brazil from 2011 to 2016. She was re-elected in 2014 but was subsequently impeached in 2016. Brazil is a prominent member of the BRICS economic bloc, a group of major emerging economies. The anglicized Italian term, cognoscenti, refers to people who are informed, expert. The term, cognoscenti, is an anglicized plural noun derived from Italian, meaning, people who know. It refers to those who are highly knowledgeable or have a deep understanding in a particular subject, especially regarding matters of art, fashion, or culture, often implying a discerning taste or expertise. YouTube was, in the early 2000s, China's most popular what? Video sharing website. YouTube was a prominent Chinese video sharing platform, frequently referred to as the YouTube of China. Formed by the merger of Youku and Tudo in 2012, it dominated the Chinese online video market in the early 2000s, providing a vast array of user-generated and professional content. Yildiz Holding, one of the world's largest confectionery corporations and acquirer of United Biscuits in 2014, is of what mint nationality? Turkish. Yildiz Holding is a Turkish conglomerate and a major global player in the food industry, particularly renowned for its confectionery products. Its acquisition of United Biscuits in 2014 significantly expanded its international market presence. Turkey is often included in the MINT group, an acronym for Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey, representing significant emerging market economies. Name the largest pre-Columbian, Hispanic city of South America, located in Peru, which is also the name of a popular song from Cuba. Chan Chan. Chan Chan was the capital of the Timor Kingdom, representing the largest pre-Columbian city in South America, located in the Moche Valley of modern-day Peru. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, famous for its vast adobe architecture. Chan Chan is also the title of a globally renowned Cuban sun song by Compe Segundo, popularized by the Buena Vista Social Club. Concentric graduated shading, traditionally used on Western stringed instrument soundboards and mid-1900s cartoons, is called sunburst. A sunburst finish is a distinctive aesthetic pattern characterized by a gradual transition from a darker color at the edges to a lighter color in the center. This design is prominently featured on the soundboards of many stringed instruments, such as guitars and mandolins, and has also been a common visual motif in mid-20th century art and cartooning. Which statesman used the Russian maxim, "Doверяй, no проверяй, trust, but verify," to ease US-USSR negotiations at the end of the Cold War? Ronald Reagan. The Russian proverb, "Doверяй, no проверяй," meaning, trust, but verify, was famously adopted by US President Ronald Reagan during his arms control negotiations with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev in the 1980s. This maxim became a cornerstone of his foreign policy, emphasizing the need for rigorous verification mechanisms to ensure compliance with treaties, even while engaging in diplomatic trust building. Paramita, parami, or the 10 perfections, are an aspirational model of which belief system? Buddhism. Paramita, Pali, parami, meaning perfections, or transcendent virtues, refers to a set of qualities cultivated by a bodhisattva on the path to Buddhahood in Buddhism. These 10 virtues, including generosity, morality, wisdom, and patience, serve as an aspirational model for ethical and spiritual development within the Buddhist tradition, guiding practitioners towards enlightenment. What vocal musical term means literally, in the style of the church, chapel? A cappella. The term, a cappella, is an Italian phrase that literally translates to, in the style of the church, or, in the style of the chapel. It refers to vocal music performed entirely without instrumental accompaniment. This style has its historical roots in early Christian plain chant and Renaissance sacred choral music, where instrumental accompaniment was often excluded. Collagen, elastin, keratin, myosin, and lectin are proteins. Collagen, elastin, keratin, myosin, and lectin are all distinct types of proteins, which are large, complex biomolecules composed of amino acid chains. These proteins play crucial roles in biological systems, providing structural support, collagen, keratin, elasticity, elastin, enabling muscle contraction, myosin, and mediating cell recognition and binding, lectin. Edema, or dropsy, refers to body tissue. Swelling. Edema, also commonly spelled edema, is a medical condition characterized by the abnormal accumulation of fluid in the interstitial spaces of the body's tissues. This excess fluid typically results in swelling, which can manifest in various parts of the body and often indicates underlying medical issues related to cardiovascular, renal, or lymphatic system function. The ischium, related to sciatic, is the lower part of which human bone? Pelvis. The ischium is one of the three primary bones that make up the human hip bone, alongside the ilium and the pubis, which collectively form the pelvis. It constitutes the lower and posterior portion of the hip bone, notably containing the ischial tuberosity, commonly known as the sit bones, and forming a part of the acetabulum, the socket for the femur. Sound reflected back within c.50 milliseconds is technically called what, commonly abbreviated as a sound production effect? Reverberation. Reverberation is the phenomenon where sound persists in an enclosed space after the original sound source has ceased, due to multiple reflections off surfaces. When these reflections occur within approximately 50 milliseconds of the direct sound, they are perceived as a continuous decay rather than distinct echoes, contributing to the acoustic character of a room. Glycyrrhizin, extracted from the Glycyrrhiza glabra plant and used in medicine, is more generally known for the distinctive sweet characteristic of wort confection, famously produced in Pontefract, West Yorkshire. Licorice. Glycyrrhizin is a triterpenoid saponin extracted from the root of the Glycyrrhiza glabra plant, commonly known as licorice. Significantly sweeter than sucrose, it is widely used as a natural sweetener in confectionery, especially licorice candies, and also possesses various medicinal properties. What controversial process uses a propant with slickwater or gel form including additives such as hydrochloric acid, guar gum, and radioactive traces? Fracking. Fracking, or hydraulic fracturing, is a well stimulation technique used to extract oil and natural gas from shale formations. It involves injecting a high-pressure mixture of water, sand, propant, and chemicals into a wellbore to create fractures in the rock, allowing hydrocarbons to flow to the surface. The process is controversial due to concerns about potential environmental impacts. Ishmael, the first son of Abraham according to biblical accounts, refers metaphorically also to a outcast. In the Abrahamic religions, Ishmael is traditionally considered the first son of Abraham, born to Sarah's handmaiden Hagar. Due to circumstances described in religious texts, Ishmael and Hagar were cast out from Abraham's household. Consequently, Ishmael has become a metaphorical term for an outcast or a wanderer. The architectural term colonnade refers to a series of what features? Columns. A colonnade is a long sequence of columns joined by their entablature, often forming a covered walkway or supporting a roof structure. This architectural element is prominent in classical architecture, frequently used to create grand entrances, porticos, or define open spaces in buildings. The word porous literally refers to what characteristic in a substance? Holes. A porous substance is characterized by having pores, which are small holes, spaces, or channels within its structure, allowing for the passage of liquids or gases. This property is crucial in various scientific and engineering applications, including filtration, absorption, and material design. Built between 1723 and 1725, the famous Spanish Steps are located in which capital city? Rome. The Spanish Steps, Scalinata di Trinita di Monti, is a monumental stairway of 135 steps located in Rome, Italy, connecting the Piazza di Spagna with the Trinita di Monti church. Built between 1723 and 1725, it is a renowned example of Baroque architecture and a popular tourist landmark. Canon law comprises rules and regulations according to the authority of the Church. Canon law refers to the body of internal laws and regulations governing the Catholic Church, the Eastern Orthodox Churches, and the Anglican Communion. It provides a framework for the organization, governance, and discipline of these religious institutions and their members. What old Japanese battle cry and emperor greeting means, 10,000 years of life, to you? Banzai. Banzai, wansui, is a traditional Japanese exclamation translating literally to 10,000 years. Historically used as a battle cry or a greeting to the emperor, wishing him a long life, it has evolved into a general expression of celebration, joy, or enthusiasm in modern Japan. What does the official European hazard symbol of a bold black X in a yellow, orange square indicate about a substance? It is harmful and irritant. This symbol, under the older European Union classification system, denoted substances that were harmful or irritant. It warned users about potential health risks such as skin or eye irritation, or other adverse health effects. How is the number 333 represented in Roman numerals? CCCXXXII. Roman numerals are an ancient numerical system that originated in Rome, represented by combinations of letters from the Latin alphabet. C stands for 100, X for 10, and I for 1, making 333 CCCXXXII. In South Korea, what type of significant entity is referred to as a chaebol? A family-owned and operated corporation. A chaebol is a large South Korean family-owned business conglomerate, often with diverse interests. These powerful entities have significantly influenced South Korea's economic development and remain central to its industrial landscape. What is the technical name for the simplest alcohol, CH3OH, commonly known as wood spirits, and historically produced by burning pine? Methanol. Methanol, CH3OH, is the simplest alcohol, a light, volatile, flammable liquid with a distinct odor. It is highly toxic and is used as an antifreeze, solvent, fuel, and as a denaturant for ethanol. Neoteny, a phenomenon considered highly significant in human evolution, refers to the retention of which characteristics into adolescence or adulthood. Infant, fetal characteristics. Neoteny is the retention of juvenile features in the adult animal. In humans, this includes traits like a large head-to-body ratio, a flat face, and lack of extensive body hair, and it is thought to have played a crucial role in the development of our large brains in prolonged learning period. Which house constituted the last Russian monarchy, overthrown by the 1917 revolution? The House of Romanov. The House of Romanov was the ruling imperial dynasty of Russia from 1613 to 1917. Their reign ended with the February Revolution of 1917, leading to the abdication of Emperor Nicholas II and the subsequent execution of the imperial family. What are planchets, flans, and blanks synonyms for? Pieces of metal used to make coins. Planchets, flans, and blanks are all terms used in numismatics to describe the unstruck metal discs that are eventually minted into coins. These terms refer to the intermediate stage of metal preparation before the final striking process imprints the design and inscriptions, making them ready for circulation. Quinoa, an ancient edible seed crop, experienced significant 21st century productivity and trade conflicts between which two nations of its continent of origin? Bolivia and Peru. Quinoa, Chenopodium quinoa, is an ancient grain crop native to the Andes region of South America. Bolivia and Peru are its leading global producers, where increased international demand in the 21st century brought both economic opportunities and socio-economic challenges for local indigenous farming communities. The traditional English exclamation, "Struth," is an 1800s abbreviated form of what older expression? God's truth. The exclamation, "Struth," is an archaic interjection in English, primarily used to express surprise, dismay, or emphasis. It originated in the 19th century as a euphemistic contraction of the phrase, God's truth, reflecting a historical trend of abbreviating or altering oaths and exclamations. The nomadic Tuareg people are the traditional inhabitants of which geographical region? Saharan North Africa. The Tuareg are a large Berber ethnic confederation primarily inhabiting the vast expanse of the Sahara Desert and the Sahel region of North Africa. They are renowned for their nomadic lifestyle, distinctive blue indigo attire, and rich cultural heritage across countries like Mali, Niger, Algeria, and Libya. The term, grandee, referring to a high-ranking person, originally applied to noblemen of which historical region? Iberia. The term, grandee, historically referred to a nobleman of the highest rank in Spain and Portugal, the Iberian Peninsula. These individuals held significant privileges and status, often having direct access to the monarch, and played influential roles in the courts and politics of their respective kingdoms. Althea officinalis, an ancient African medicinal plant and sugar-sweet ingredient, is commonly known as which popular confection? Marshmallow. Althea officinalis, commonly known as the marshmallow plant, is a perennial herb indigenous to Europe, North Africa, and Western Asia. Its root, rich in mucilage, was traditionally used for medicinal purposes and was the original primary ingredient in the confection now known as marshmallow. Under standard conditions, what is the lightest and least dense of all metallic elements? Lithium. Lithium, an alkali metal, group 1 element, holds the distinction of being the lightest and least dense metal under standard conditions. With an atomic number of 3, it is highly reactive and has significant industrial applications, including in batteries. How is granulated sugar typically processed into icing sugar? By grinding it finer. Icing sugar, also known as powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar, is produced by mechanically grinding granulated sugar to a very fine powder. This fine milling increases its surface area, enabling it to dissolve quickly and impart a smooth texture, making it ideal for baking and confectionery. Leo Tolstoy's book, War and Peace, concerns the 1812 invasion of Russia by which country? France. Leo Tolstoy's epic novel, War and Peace, vividly portrays the events surrounding Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Russia in 1812. This historical campaign, often referred to as the Patriotic War, represented a critical juncture in the Napoleonic Wars and had profound implications for European history. What is the general term for the form of physics concerned with subatomic particles, atoms, molecules, and their radiation? Quantum physics. Quantum physics, or quantum mechanics, is a fundamental branch of physics that investigates the behavior of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic levels. It introduces concepts such as wave-particle duality and the quantization of energy, which are essential for understanding the microscopic world. Which Japanese corporation produced the first compact electronic calculator, released in 1957? Casio. Casio's release of the 14A calculator in 1957 marked a significant milestone in electronics, making computation more accessible. This innovation laid the groundwork for the modern electronic devices and calculators we use today. On what does the butternut squash or pumpkin grow? A vine. Butternut squash and pumpkins are cucurbites, characterized by their sprawling growth habit. They develop on vines, which allow the plant to spread across a larger area to maximize sunlight exposure and nutrient absorption. The medieval profession of a bard equates nowadays to what profession? A poet. In medieval societies, bards were professional storytellers, poets, and musicians who recited epics and praised patrons. Their role as creators and performers of oral literature closely aligns with the modern understanding of a poet, often combining lyrical skill with narrative ability. In Italy, what does the term cesubio refer to in the context of a married woman? A male lover or companion. In 18th century Italy, a cesubio was a man who formally attended a married noblewoman, often with her husband's knowledge and consent, serving as her public escort and companion. This social custom, prevalent among the upper classes, sometimes implied a more intimate relationship, reflecting unique societal norms of the period. In which country is the Bay of Pigs located? Cuba. The Bay of Pigs, Bahía de Cochinos, is an inlet of the Gulf of Cazones on the southern coast of Cuba. It is historically significant as the site of the failed 1961 invasion by Cuban exiles, supported by the US, aiming to overthrow Fidel Castro's government, marking a major Cold War confrontation. What is the color of the actual flowers of a poinsettia plant? Yellow. While poinsettia plants are famous for their vibrant red, pink, or white bracts, modified leaves, their actual flowers are small, yellow structures found at the center of these colorful bracts. These yellow parts are called cyathea and contain the reproductive organs of the plant. What was the material used for Norwegian Thor Heyerdahl's Kon-Tiki raft, on which he sailed from South America to Polynesia in 1947, to demonstrate early Polynesian immigration? Balsa. Thor Heyerdahl's Kon-Tiki expedition in 1947 aimed to prove the possibility of pre-Columbian contact between South America and Polynesia. The raft, constructed primarily from balsa wood and other natural materials, replicated ancient designs to demonstrate early seafaring capabilities. What iconic Louisiana Creole dish, derived from a French Provençal word and inspired by Spanish paella, typically consists of meat, vegetables, stock, and rice? Jambalaya. Jambalaya is a significant culinary staple of Louisiana Creole and Cajun cuisine, known for its rich flavors and adaptability. This hearty rice dish reflects a blend of French, Spanish, and West African influences, making it a distinctive cultural food. Name the Soviet Union policy of governmental openness, implemented by Mikhail Gorbachev from 1985. Glasnost. Glasnost, meaning openness, was a policy introduced by Mikhail Gorbachev in the mid-1980s as part of his reform agenda for the Soviet Union. It aimed to increase transparency in government activities and reduce censorship, allowing for greater freedom of information and public discourse. The central blue, Ashoka Chakra, icon on India's national flag represents a wheel. The Ashoka Chakra, a 24-spoked wheel depicted in navy blue, is prominently featured on the Indian national flag. It symbolizes the Dharma Chakra, wheel of law, representing truth, righteousness, and forward movement in a dynamic nation. The sum of the two other angles in a right-angled triangle must always add up to how many degrees? 90. In any right-angled triangle, one angle measures exactly 90 degrees. Since the sum of all internal angles in a triangle is always 180 degrees, the remaining two acute angles must collectively add up to 90 degrees. Which historical nationality of Spain is located directly north of Portugal? Galicia. Galicia is an autonomous community of Spain, situated in the northwest Iberian Peninsula, directly bordering Portugal to its south. Historically a distinct kingdom and cultural entity, it maintains its own language, Galician, which shares origins with Portuguese. What onomatopoeic term refers to a modern jazz form popularized in the 1940s by influential musicians such as Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, and Dizzy Gillespie? Bebop. Bebop is a fast-paced, improvisational style of jazz that emerged in the 1940s, marking a significant shift from earlier swing music. Characterized by complex harmonies, rapid tempos, and virtuosic solos, it was pioneered by legendary figures like Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. The variable and vast plasma stream of electrons and protons originating from the Sun is called the solar wind. The solar wind is a continuous flow of charged particles, primarily electrons and protons, emitted from the Sun's upper atmosphere. This plasma stream travels through the solar system, influencing planetary magnetospheres, producing phenomena like the aurora borealis and aurora australis. Doggerel is a crude form of what, originating in many cultures in the late Middle Ages? Poetry. Doggerel refers to a type of poetry that is crude, simplistic, or irregular in meter and rhyme, often intentionally humorous or satirical. It typically lacks artistic merit or sophistication, yet it has been used across various cultures since the late Middle Ages for light-hearted or satirical purposes. What is a continuous low musical note, annoying monotony, and a controversial flying machine? Drone. Drones, or unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, are remotely piloted aircraft used for various purposes like surveillance, reconnaissance, delivery, and warfare. The term also refers to a continuous low musical note or a monotonous sound, reflecting its broader usage beyond technology, impacting fields from military to logistics. In what city did a nurse become the first person outside Africa to be infected by Ebola in the 2014 outbreak? Madrid. The 2014 Ebola outbreak was a major global health crisis, primarily affecting West Africa. The case in Madrid marked a critical moment as it was the first documented transmission outside Africa, highlighting the challenges of containing highly infectious diseases and the need for robust international public health protocols. Graffitied and repainted often since 1980, and obliterated in 2014 except from the ironic statement, "Wall is over," the Freedom Wall in Prague celebrates whose memory? John Lennon. The John Lennon Wall in Prague became a potent symbol of protest against Czechoslovakia's communist regime in the 1980s, inspired by Lennon's messages of peace and freedom. Despite official efforts to erase it, the wall continuously reappeared, reflecting a popular resistance movement and celebrating artistic expression and political dissent. On which planet did NASA's Curiosity rover complete its first year, equal to 687 Earth days, in June 2014? Mars. NASA's Curiosity rover, a key component of the Mars Science Laboratory mission, landed on Mars in August 2012. Its primary objectives include assessing whether Mars ever had conditions favorable for microbial life and studying the planet's geology and climate, significantly advancing our understanding of planetary science and astrobiology. Which city in Russia hosted the 22nd Olympic Winter Games? Sochi. Sochi, Russia, hosted the 22nd Olympic Winter Games in 2014, marking the first time Russia hosted the Winter Olympics. The event involved massive infrastructure development and garnered significant international attention, showcasing Russia's capabilities in organizing large-scale global events while also sparking discussions on environmental and human rights issues. The mysteriously lost Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 in March 2014 was bound from Kuala Lumpur to where? Beijing. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, MH370, was a scheduled international passenger flight that disappeared on the 8th of March 2014 while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport to its planned destination, Beijing Capital International Airport. The disappearance prompted one of the largest and most expensive searches in history, but the main wreckage has never been found. In 2014, Belgium became the first country in the world to legalize what controversial treatment of terminally ill people? Euthanasia. In 2014, Belgium became the first country in the world to legalize euthanasia for terminally ill children, expanding its existing law which already permitted it for adults. This controversial legislation sparked considerable international debate regarding medical ethics and human rights. According to 2014 market capitalization, Google, Microsoft, Apple and which oil corporation were globally the most valuable companies? ExxonMobil. In 2014, based on market capitalization, ExxonMobil was one of the world's most valuable companies, alongside tech giants like Apple, Google, and Microsoft. Market capitalization represents the total value of a company's outstanding shares, reflecting its size and investor perception at a given time. Narendra Modi became Prime Minister of which country in May 2014? India. Narendra Modi assumed office as the 14th Prime Minister of India on May 26, 2014, following a landslide victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, in the general elections. His election marked a significant shift in Indian politics, bringing a strong mandate for economic development and governance reforms. Which regional territory experienced the Umbrella Revolution in autumn 2014, being a protracted protest against electoral constraints? Hong Kong. The Umbrella Revolution, also known as the Umbrella Movement, was a series of pro-democracy protests that took place in Hong Kong during autumn 2014. These protests challenged the Chinese government's proposed electoral reforms for the 2017 Hong Kong chief executive election, which included pre-screening of candidates. In May 2014, the World Health Organization declared an international emergency due to major outbreaks of what nearly eradicated disease? Polio. The World Health Organization, WHO, declared a public health emergency of international concern, PHEIC, in May 2014 due to the international spread of wild poliovirus. This declaration highlighted the urgency of global efforts to eradicate polio, a highly infectious disease that can cause paralysis. Which name is shared by the two popes made saints by the Vatican in April 2014? John. In a historic joint canonization ceremony in April 2014, Pope Francis declared both Pope John XXIII and Pope John Paul II as saints. This event marked a significant occasion for the Catholic Church, honoring two influential pontiffs. Buddhist politician and businessman Nivathamrong Boonsompison briefly, until a military coup in 2014, acted as Prime Minister of which nation, once known as Siam? Thailand. Nivathamrong Boonsompison served as the interim Prime Minister of Thailand in 2014, following the ousting of Yingluck Shinawatra, until a military coup took control. Thailand, historically known as Siam, experienced significant political upheaval during this period. A 2014 cardiology study, Tabosky, ESC, found that wine reduces cardiovascular disease only in people who exercise. A 2014 cardiology study presented at the European Society of Cardiology, ESC, Congress by Dr. Milos Tabosky indicated that regular, moderate wine consumption only showed a protective effect against cardiovascular disease in individuals who also exercised regularly. This research suggested that a healthy lifestyle, including physical activity, is crucial for cardiovascular benefits. The heavily hyped end November shopping day of mass brawling for bargains in UK stores in 2014 is called Black Friday. Black Friday, a significant post-Thanksgiving shopping event originating in the United States, gained widespread prominence in the UK around 2014, often characterized by intense competition for discounted goods. It marks the unofficial start of the Christmas shopping season and is known for major sales. Which country replaced President Viktor Yanukovych with Alexander Turchynov in February 2014 after lethal riots in Kiev? Ukraine. In February 2014, following the Euromaidan revolution and violent clashes in Kiev, President Viktor Yanukovych was ousted from power in Ukraine. Alexander Turchynov then became acting president, leading to a significant shift in the country's political landscape. In 2014, who became the oldest person to be identified using DNA analysis? King Richard III. In 2014, DNA analysis definitively confirmed that a skeleton discovered under a Leicester car park was that of King Richard III, who died in 1485. This identification marked a major archaeological and historical discovery, resolving centuries-old mysteries about the last Plantagenet king. Sony and Emirates Airlines withdrew their sponsorship in 2014 from which global organization after ongoing corruption scandals? FIFA. In 2014, Sony and Emirates Airlines terminated their sponsorships with FIFA following widespread corruption scandals that severely damaged the organization's reputation. This event highlighted the significant financial and reputational risks companies face when associated with bodies embroiled in ethical controversies. Which Baltic state replaced its Lats currency with euros on the 1st of January 2014? Latvia. Latvia officially adopted the euro as its currency on January 1, 2014, becoming the 18th member of the Eurozone. This transition marked a significant step in Latvia's economic integration with the European Union and was preceded by a period of economic reforms to meet the euro convergence criteria. Geographically, Guantanamo Bay is located in Cuba. Guantanamo Bay is a bay and a United States naval base situated on the southeastern coast of Cuba. While geographically part of Cuba, the naval base has been under perpetual lease to the US since 1903, making it a point of historical and ongoing geopolitical contention between the two nations. What kitchen-related term refers to a major music publishing, retailing street, notably Manhattan's West 28th Street and London's Denmark Street? Tin Pan Alley. Tin Pan Alley is a collection of New York City music publishers and songwriters who dominated the popular music of the United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The name is often extended to other similar historical music publishing districts, such as Denmark Street in London, reflecting a specific era of music production and distribution. What commodity value is benchmarked in the USA and elsewhere according to Texas Light Sweet? Oil. Texas Light Sweet, TLS, is a specific grade of crude oil characterized by its low density and low sulfur content. It serves as a key benchmark for oil pricing, particularly in the United States, indicating the standard for light, sweet crude. Its value is often referenced alongside other international benchmarks like Brent crude. The dinosaur Archaeopteryx, or Urvogel, in German, is considered a main ancestor of modern birds. Archaeopteryx is a genus of bird-like dinosaurs from the late Jurassic period, famously known as Urvogel, meaning first bird. It is considered a crucial transitional fossil, exhibiting characteristics of both feathered dinosaurs and modern birds. This makes it a pivotal piece of evidence in understanding avian evolution. Warren Buffett coined which key investment term to symbolize a corporation's competitive immunity? Moat. The term, economic moat, was popularized by investor Warren Buffett to describe a company's sustainable competitive advantage over its rivals. Like a castle's moat protecting it from attackers, an economic moat safeguards a company's long-term profits and market share. Examples include strong brand loyalty, high customer switching costs, or network effects. The coffin of which famous assassin, buried in 1963 and exhumed in 1981, was sold at auction for $87,500 in 2010? Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald is historically recognized as the assassin of U.S. President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. His subsequent assassination by Jack Ruby just 2 days later has fueled numerous conspiracy theories surrounding the event. The sale of his coffin years later underscores the enduring public and historical interest in the assassination and its figures. What disease causes the human immune system to attack healthy tissue, believed originally from the bite of a wolf? Lupus. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own healthy tissues and organs. It can affect various body systems, including joints, skin, kidneys, and the heart. The name, lupus, is thought to originate from the Latin word for wolf, possibly referencing facial rashes that were once believed to resemble a wolf's bite. What was the largest white truffle ever sold, weighing 4.16 pounds, which fetched $61,250 at Sotheby's in NYC in 2014? Truffle. The largest white truffle ever sold, weighing 4.16 pounds, 1.89 kilograms, was auctioned at Sotheby's in New York City in 2014 for $61,250. This rare delicacy, known for its unique aroma and flavor, is highly prized in gourmet cuisine, reflecting its significant economic value as a luxury commodity. Which controversial global taxi-hailing smartphone application, known for its disruptive business model, faced bans in several territories in 2014? Uber. Uber, a technology company operating a ride-sharing service, faced significant regulatory challenges and bans in various territories in 2014 due to its controversial business model. Its disruptive entry into the transportation sector sparked debates about the gig economy, labor laws, and fair competition with traditional taxi services. In Germany, what does a Weihnachtsbaum or Tannenbaum refer to? Christmas tree. In Germany, a Weihnachtsbaum or Tannenbaum translates to a Christmas tree. This tradition, believed to have originated in Germany, involves decorating an evergreen tree, often a fir, tan, to celebrate Christmas, and has since spread globally. A square grid of square cells, where each of its longest diagonals contains 5 cells, comprises how many cells in total? 25. If a square grid has 5 cells along its longest diagonal, it implies the grid is 5 cells by 5 cells. The total number of cells in a square grid is calculated by multiplying the number of rows by the number of columns, so 5 times 5 equals 25 cells. Which major traditional British pantomime is uniquely based on a real-life historical figure? Dick Whittington. Dick Whittington and His Cat is a traditional British pantomime based on the semi-legendary life of Richard Whittington, a historical figure who served as Lord Mayor of London 4 times. This pantomime is notable for being one of the few to draw inspiration from a real person's life rather than pure folklore. What celestial phenomenon are the Geminids of December? Meteor shower. The Geminids are a prominent and reliable meteor shower that occurs annually in December, peaking around the 13th-14th. Unlike most meteor showers which originate from comets, the Geminids are associated with an asteroid, 3200 Phaethon, which is considered an active asteroid. The Latin term, aurum, refers to which precious commodity? Gold. Aurum is the Latin word for gold, which is also the origin of its chemical symbol, O, in the periodic table. Gold is a highly valued precious metal known for its distinctive yellow color, malleability, ductility, and resistance to corrosion, making it significant historically, economically, and scientifically. In Austria and Germany, what is an Eierpunsch? Egg drink. An Eierpunsch is a traditional warm egg-based drink popular in Austria and Germany, especially during the Christmas season. Similar to eggnog, it typically contains egg yolks, sugar, white wine, spirits, like rum or brandy, and spices. Which type of song derives its name from an Old French term for a circle dance? Carol. The word carol originates from the Old French word carol, which referred to a popular circle dance accompanied by singing. Over time, the term evolved to primarily denote a joyous song or hymn, especially those sung at Christmas. Answer is the genus name for which family of creatures whose fat is traditional in cooking? Goose. Answer is a genus of anseriform birds, comprising the grey geese and white geese. Geese belong to the family Anatidae, which also includes ducks and swans. Goose fat is traditionally used in cooking due to its high smoke point and rich flavor. The notable drinks brands, makers Vonings, De Kuiper and Bols all originated in what country? Netherlands. Vonings, De Kuiper, and Bols are renowned Dutch distilleries. Bols, established in 1575, is one of the oldest distilled spirits brands in the world, famous for Genever and liqueurs, highlighting a significant part of Dutch economic and cultural history. In the Christian calendar, the 1st of January is traditionally a feast celebrating Christ's what? Circumcision. In the traditional Christian liturgical calendar, January 1st is celebrated as the feast of the circumcision of Christ. This commemorates the event described in the Gospel of Luke, where Jesus was circumcised 8 days after his birth, in accordance with Jewish law. According to biblical tradition, the three magi, wise men or kings, came from the east. According to biblical tradition, specifically in the Gospel of Matthew, the magi, often referred to as wise men or kings, traveled from the east to pay homage to the newborn Jesus. They are believed to have followed a star to Bethlehem, bringing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What is an interface, a side, a logistics facility, and a geographically protected drink name? Port. The word port has multiple meanings. It refers to a harbor or dock facility, logistics facility, a connection point for devices, interface, a side of a ship, port side, and a fortified wine from Portugal, geographically protected drink name. Port wine, specifically, is a sweet, red, fortified wine produced in the Douro Valley of northern Portugal. What's the traditional name for a cockerel or rooster that's been castrated to improve the quality of its meat? Capon. A capon is a castrated male chicken, cockerel or rooster that is raised for meat production. Castration leads to less aggressive behavior and promotes fat deposition, resulting in tender, more flavorful meat. This practice has been employed in poultry farming for centuries. What creature is Equus africanus asinus? Donkey. Equus africanus asinus is the scientific name for the domestic donkey. It is a subspecies of the African wild ass, Equus africanus, and is part of the Equidae family, which includes horses and zebras. Donkeys have been domesticated for thousands of years and are used worldwide as working animals. The last Adam is an alternative name for whom or what? Jesus Christ. In Christian theology, the last Adam, or the second Adam, is an epithet for Jesus Christ. This concept, primarily articulated by Paul the Apostle, contrasts Jesus with Adam, the first human, who brought sin and death into the world. Jesus, as the last Adam, is seen as bringing righteousness and eternal life through his sacrifice. The lowest pitch string on a conventionally tuned violin is G. On a conventionally tuned violin, the four strings are typically tuned to G, D, A, and E. The G string is the lowest in pitch, followed by D, A, and E, which is the highest. This standard tuning allows for a wide range of melodic and harmonic possibilities and is fundamental to playing the instrument. A point shoe is worn in ballet. A point shoe is a specialized type of footwear worn by ballet dancers, primarily female dancers, when performing point work. These shoes have a hardened box in the toe to support the dancer's full body weight on the tips of their fully extended feet, creating an illusion of lightness and grace essential to classical ballet. Named after a German physicist, what is the international unit of frequency, defined as 1 cycle per second? Hertz. Hertz is the SI unit of frequency, representing 1 cycle per second. It is named after the German physicist Heinrich Rudolf Hertz, whose pioneering work in the late 19th century significantly advanced the understanding of electromagnetic waves. In mathematics and logic, the process of using one or more statements or facts to achieve a logical conclusion is known as deduction. Deduction is a reasoning process where specific conclusions are drawn from general principles or premises. If the premises are true, the conclusion derived through valid deductive reasoning must also be true, making it a fundamental concept in logic and scientific method. Who wrote the Communist Manifesto, 1848, and Das Kapital, 1867? Karl Marx. Karl Marx was a German philosopher, economist, historian, political theorist, and revolutionary. He is renowned for his influential works, the Communist Manifesto, co-authored with Friedrich Engels, and Das Kapital, which laid the theoretical foundations for communism and critiqued capitalism.